Hey people, it is Friday the 12th of September. It's 5:30 p.m. and about 21 degrees Celsius. And I'm on the Bathurst Street Bridge. We just saw a GO train heading into Union Station. Friday rush hour is underway. And just right over here is where Front Street begins here at Bathurst, heading east. So I'm going to take a walk along the entire length of Front Street as it runs along the southern end of downtown. It runs all the way to Corktown Common on the far east side of downtown. And it's a beautiful, lively day in the city. I think we'll see a lot of activity as we make our way along Front Street. I think there's a baseball game getting underway soon. This far western end of Front Street isn't all that pretty to look at, admittedly. We have the rail corridor over there. Don't even have any sidewalks on the other side of the street. And you have all the City Place condo towers. But we do have this awesome view of the CN Tower. I did another walk along all of Front Street maybe a couple years ago, but I did it starting from the other end and headed west. So I thought I'd do an updated walk going in the opposite direction. And also at this time of day, I'm not walking directly into the sun, which I was doing.
You good? Huh? You good?
On the way over here, I was quite blinded walking into the sun for much of the way. You can hear another train going past, another GO train. Right, we're at Portland Street. And there's a Up Express train going underneath the pedestrian bridge. And this is a new complex here, Portland Commons. It's an office structure. I think there's also some retail space for lease. 560,000 square feet of office space up for grabs there. I wonder if that will start filling up now that return to the office is kicking in. A lot of companies don't have enough space anymore for all their employees. They're all coming into the office now. They might have to find some new space. I think they built that on spec also, just kind of hoping for something to come along and snap it up. And here's the newly reconstructed Draper Street with its nice interlocking brick sidewalks and street. I'll come back another time and do a walk through there. I did one at night during a live stream, but it was pretty dark. There's also a new walkway connection connecting Draper Street to the Well, which is right here. It's a large shopping complex, as well as a residential and office complex. Lots of new spaces are opening up all around here. And you can see the Sky Dome with the roof open right now, getting ready for the Jays game. There's one of the ways into the Well. It's like a kind of outdoor shopping mall for the most part, open to the elements, with some roof or ceilings to protect you if it does rain or anything like that. Prince Street Pizza. They had huge lineups for a long time when they first opened due to all the hype. Looks like the lineup days are long gone. When I first tried it a couple years ago, it was Megan in a video. We had to wait in line. And it was good, but it wasn't wait in line for too long good, in my opinion. It was good pizza though, I'm not going to complain. And up ahead is Spadina Avenue. Things will start to get busier, I think, as we get closer to the Sky Dome. I saw quite a few people filing in their Jays jerseys and that sort of thing. The game probably gets underway in the next hour and a half maybe, I'm not exactly sure. Just trying to talk over the music here as we walk past the Well. I really like to blast it out onto the sidewalk. All right, here is Spadina.
No, that's the point.
Here's the main entrance into the Well. Looks very busy right now. I think it's safe to say this is a success. There's a lot of talk saying it was going to fail and that sort of thing, of course, online, Toronto Reddit and all that sort of thing. All the doom and gloom that you find on internet forums and anything discussing Toronto in particular. It's almost all negative.
Like before the swirl, he starts walking in a way that I'm like, what's coming? And then he swirls.
Oh, actually, there's some over there too.
That wasn't directed at me. It's kind of cute though. The sidewalks along this part of Front Street are much busier now than they used to be in years past. And they're a bit too narrow now, in my opinion, to handle all the pedestrian volume that they're getting. Almost that entire cluster of towers you see there is fairly recently built. It's almost like a whole skyline on its own just right there. Yeah, I think there'll be a leveling up in terms of congestion in downtown in the coming weeks. Lots of return to office mandates will be coming into effect. Some have already come into effect, but I think starting as early as this Monday, more will be coming into effect, bringing tons more people into the heart of the city. This walk will include one of my favorite stretches of street in all of Toronto, which is the part of Front Street as it goes past Union Station. It's a little ways ahead. Look at the dome. There's Blue Jays Way, also known as Peter Street. All these people are heading up to the game. I'm not sure who the Jays are even playing. I don't really follow baseball too closely. Or any sport really for that matter.
Okay, cheers. I thought
So a lot of the bars and restaurants along here cater to mostly a tourist crowd and some office workers as well. A lot of them seem kind of similar to one another. Their menus and their design and sort of music you might hear playing. Here's one of the last surface parking lots downtown. I think it's a sitting duck. It's about as close to a complete view of the tower as we're going to get. Nice little mini parkette. And here's the CBC headquarters, Canadian Broadcasting Corporation. See more people heading up to the game. We're here at John Street. That walkway will take you to the CN Tower and the Sky Dome, as well as the aquarium. And that'll take you up to King Street, where the film festival is still underway here in the city. So he's gonna come flying down the sidewalk, be careful. All right, I'm ready, dude.
Wide open road. Here we go. Oh, sorry.
He's the one who really has to be careful, though, to be honest, right? I'm not sure what he was trying to do, but I don't think he accomplished it. Better luck next time. He's probably going to give it another go. There's the convention center across the street. And another look at CBC headquarters. Massive building. CBC Radio Canada, got some shows here. Murdoch Mysteries, Kim's Convenience. Kim's Convenience is no longer being made, but Murdoch Mysteries is. It's been on forever. I think the only show that's currently in production on CBC that I'm actually still watching right now is the one about the kid who lives in Newfoundland in the 1980s or 90s. Son of a Critch. For some reason I couldn't think of the name of that show. Son of a Critch, that's what it is. It's a pretty decent show. More bars and restaurants along here. Very much similar to other ones we've already passed and will be passing up ahead. These don't look like people heading to the Jays game, at least not all of them anyway. I think the film festival is adding to some of the crowds around here right now, to some extent anyway. Simcoe Street. Maybe let's cross to the other side of Front. This is one of my favorite new office towers. It's 160 Front, also known as TD Terrace. They did a good job incorporating this old historic building into the new office building. They actually completely tore it down and then just rebuilt the front and side facade of the building. So if you go on Google Street View, you'll find that old building as it originally stood, and then you'll find it not there, and then you'll find it as it looks now, which is very much as it used to look before it was torn down and partially reconstructed. That's a thing they do in Toronto called facadism. It's a very common practice in Toronto. Toronto might be the facadism capital of the world. I can't say for sure, but it's probably in the running anyway. That building is still completely intact though. See a nice reflection of the tower in TD Terrace. That's looking up University Avenue. As we come into the financial district. And my favorite stretch of Front Street. There's the Royal York Hotel. See some of the bank towers. The financial district towering behind.
You didn't get scared?
Another one of these bar restaurant things that all seem to be the same. Somebody lost their drink. Free alcohol. I don't drink, otherwise I'd probably grab one of those if it was non-alcoholic. All right, crossing York Street. Jamming out. It's playing a backing track though, so you could still get a copyright claim, so I'm just going to keep on moving. Otherwise, I'd stop and watch them for a minute. You don't need a backing track, dude. Just play. But here's Union Station.
Yeah, no, that.
This
Yeah.
degree.
Once we get past this construction here, I'll go to the other side of the street. Get a look at the station from across the street. But from this side, we get this awesome look at the Royal York. All right, let's cross. A little median here to wait for traffic. Look at it. All right. Whoa, watch out for cyclists. Yeah, definitely one of the most awe-inspiring parts of Toronto right here. Anyone who likes big city hustle and bustle. These awesome old stone buildings dating back 100 years.
So I'm like a little weird.
Asher and Ellie, yeah.
And we'll get an awesome look at the future tallest skyscraper in Canada there. Well, we already do have an awesome look, but it'll be even more awesome once it's topped out. Sky Tower. It'll be 106 stories eventually. This is just a battleground here for taxis and Uber drivers. They don't always get along so well. Even the cab drivers don't get along with other cab drivers, let alone with Uber drivers. All right, we're crossing Bay. All the big rush hour crowds have mostly died down now. Came here earlier, an hour or two earlier. You would have seen tons of office workers making their way into Union Station. That's the Dominion Public Building, another awesome old stone edifice.
I don't know when you're driving because I don't.
When we go to the Portlands, you can hop on that bus.
I was like, oh, you need to stay on your values.
I got like oh yeah. You're walking on. I was like, you're letting it up.
Financial district views. The sun peeking from between the buildings. And now we're coming into a completely different neighborhood once we cross Yonge Street. It's the St. Lawrence neighborhood. Front Street is the main street through that area. There's a better look at the Sky Tower. And the L Tower. Looking right up Yonge Street. Not sure what that was all about. Don't you know it? One of my shoes has come untied. These shoes seem to have that problem. These laces just can't stay tied up. So we got the Meridian Hall, Performing Arts Center. Originally it was called the O'Keefe Center when it first opened a long, long time ago. It's had a bunch of other names since then. And the St. Lawrence Center for the Arts, another venue here. So let's cross the street again. Just so we can get a nice look at the Birksey Park dog fountain. Well, it's still turned on. I'm not sure when they'll be turning it off. We have an annoying amount of traffic moving just quickly enough to make it hard to cross the street here. And with cars just spaced far enough apart to make it hard to cross the street. There's Birksey Park. There's a cat looking at something, I'm not sure. There's a dingus reflected. Or is it a doofus? Let's go with a doofus. Dingus is reserved for another type of person. One of the most popular attractions in the city now, I would say, for tourists taking photos or videos, or locals in my case. Lovely old 19th century storefronts or facades along here. The St. Lawrence Market area is part of Old Town, which is the oldest part of the city. It's also where the original town of York came to be before it was eventually changed to the city of Toronto. And unfortunately, the main landmark of this immediate area is all covered up in tarps and scaffolding. The Flatiron or Goodrem building. But you can see a little depiction of it there. That's what it looks like underneath all the scaffolding. I'm sure you've seen some photos or videos, including many of mine, from before. I'm not sure how long all this scaffolding will be up on here. It's getting a refresh or a sprucing up, I imagine. And we're at Church Street. will be revealed eventually. Come back to us, Flatiron Building. And here's where Wellington Street begins. It sort of branches off of Front Street. It becomes its own thing. I think the lights are way too long here in such a pedestrian-heavy area. This place is jammed with tourists and locals alike for much of the year. Shouldn't be catering to the flow of cars more than the flow of people. Now I have to wait again. I might just go if there's no cars coming. Or cyclists. Or food delivery dudes. All right, I'm going. I'm making my move. Don't follow my example, kids. You should wait for the light to change. This is a walking video, not a standing around forever waiting for the light to change video. More awesome old historic buildings all along the stretch of Front Street and along the Esplanade also, just to the south, as well as along King Street just to the north. This whole area is just packed with history and lots of charm. I guess that's why they call it Old Town. I said before, it doesn't really compete with Old Montreal by any means, or certainly not something to the extent of Quebec City, like the old city, but I think it's pretty nice, considering most people consider Toronto to be a modern city that tore down all its history, which is basically not true, but that seems to be the perception among many. Most of the people who have never actually been to Toronto or have never actually walked around in the city or never left a small part of the city, basically around the Sky Dome and the CN Tower and the Eaton Centre, maybe, if they're ever visiting from out of town. There's Market Street over there, and the actual St. Lawrence Market. And the new North Market. So you got a nice mix of old and new here. And I just noticed that my my battery is quite low. I don't know if I'll be able to make it all the way to the other end of Front Street. I didn't start the video on a full charge, but I took a chance that I'd have enough battery to do the whole walk, but maybe I'm taking too much time stopping and gawking and looking around instead of speed walking, because I might have to end the video sooner than I planned. That's disappointing. I wanted this to be a full frontal walk. But I guess I was just fronting. I might have to call it short here. It's at least another 15-20 minutes maybe to the other end of Front Street at Corktown Common.
And now
crossing George Street. Well, let's see if I can make it to Parliament before the camera dies. That'll at least take us to the edge of the St. Lawrence neighborhood, or Old Town. Beyond that is Corktown, and also the Distillery District and the Canary District. I have done recent walks through those areas though, but I was going to stick right to Front Street for this one. But I did a walk through the distillery not too long ago. I'd just sort of be passing by the distillery on this route, but not going through it. I would be going right through the Canary District though. Oh well. Is he a ghost? And we're at Sherborne. Let's cross to the other side. Love this new building. All right, I'm way in the red now. It's a race against time. There's Princess Street. And I see Parliament Street up ahead. At the Globe and Mail head office. Major daily newspaper. I think Toronto is the only city in North America that still has 4 major daily newspapers. Of course, the Globe and Mail is also a national paper, but they have a local edition, as does the National Post, which is headquartered up on Bloor Street. And you also have the Toronto Star, which is headquartered at the Well now. They left their original building at the foot of Yonge Street. And you have the Toronto Sun, which is sort of like the tabloid-style daily. I think all 4 papers are a shadow of what they used to be, but at least they're still still being put out every day, or at least 5 days a week. I'm not sure about what their weekend publishing schedule is. I haven't bought like a Toronto Star in a long time. I used to buy it every day, where they had a paper every day of the week. The Saturday Star was the big thick one that you could spend all afternoon just reading through. Last time I saw a Saturday Star, it was like just so thin now compared to what it used to be. Anyway, that's my little mini diversion rant, I guess, about Toronto's newspaper situation. But here we are. Oh, this is Berkeley Street. Geez, we're still not at Parliament. I thought we were at Parliament. But there's Parliament just right up ahead. So I'm going to start to wrap up the video before my camera decides to end it for me. Sorry, I didn't get all the way to the other end of Front Street. I tried. I should have had a full charge on the camera, so my bad, but leave a comment down below if you enjoyed this walk along most of Front Street, starting in the west at Bathurst, on the Bathurst Street Bridge, and making our way along the southern end of downtown. Got very busy around Union Station. Leave a comment down below if you enjoyed the walk, and be sure to like, share, and subscribe if you haven't already done so. Also, be sure to hit that notification bell, that way you won't miss any of my videos. If you'd like to support the channel, there are links in the description where you can do so via PayPal, as well as via my merch store. Or you can also support the channel by becoming a channel member, or by sending a super thanks if you prefer. And you can find me on Instagram also under KContinuum. So thanks for watching, and thanks to all the channel members. And be sure to keep checking back, because as always, I will continue.